In this video, I want to share how a relatively recent purchase has had a huge positive effect on my life and overall happiness, and more importantly, share what it's taught me about how to better evaluate where to spend my money. So check it, because I have to let you in on something embarrassing. I have a major conflict on my desire to behavior continuum, in that I desire to have a clean apartment, but behaviorally, I'm very lazy when it comes to upkeep. One area where I'm absolutely disgusting is here, under my TV. And yet I don't even notice it day to day, or judging by the state of it, month to month. Behaviorally, I'm weird, and we all have our own weird things that don't line up to logic. This just happens to be one of mine. Here's what I mean. I hate using stuff like this. I tell myself it's because I don't like that each of these fluffy things is a consumable, a one-time use item that the secret disposable duster cabal just wants to trap me into buying refills for every month. I may have odd, pick-and-choose selective desires for cleanliness, and that in and of itself doesn't bother me. But what does bother me really bothers me. Like, for example, when I finish making my morning coffee, inevitably, some coffee grounds end up in the base of my grinder and on the counter. I don't want to just brush them into the sink because, of course, coffee grounds are notoriously bad for clogging up drains. But that behavioral laziness I started this video with makes me groan every single morning as I use a damp cloth, since dry coffee grounds just can't be picked up with a dry towel, and then try to get the grounds into the trash, which takes time because once the grounds have been dampened by the cloth, they have the adherence of like super glue. So you and me, how do we square these types of conflicting requirements? There are generally three options. 1. Stop being a baby and just keep doing the same thing, which probably not a good idea in this particular example to continue starting every day by being annoyed. 2. Change my internal barometer of what I perceive as annoyance, which is much easier said than done. Or 3. Change the system so that it's no longer annoying. Check it out. That feeling of annoyance, if we want to generalize it, all comes down to what we individually perceive as friction. Line up at the grocery store, friction against you not wasting time just standing there. Continually binging Netflix when you should be writing that report, friction against your productivity. But do you know what the worst types of frictions are? The kinds that we have to put up with every single day. No matter how big or how tiny, like my coffee grounds example, if we have to feel that annoyance every day, that right there is death by 1,000 paper cuts. If you only remember one thing from this video, it's gotta be this. So cut the beat. If you want as happy a life as possible, instead of focusing and optimizing for the big inflection points in life, the new car, the wedding day, the big vacation, instead optimize for eliminating friction from the mundane everyday things, because those are the things we actually have to experience and live through each and every day. Okay, DJ, spin that back. So, what is my solution to this small but repetitive daily annoyance? Ready to be underwhelmed? Small vacuum cleaner on my kitchen countertop. I realized within a week of having this guy here that all the layers of friction were addressed. The effects were so positively impactful that I ended up buying a different one for the living room, since there are also frequent enough small messes on my coffee table that bothered me, but that I'd let sit because my perceived friction would win. I hope, by the way, that it's painfully clear that this video is not trying to convince you to buy a small vacuum cleaner. After all, you most likely don't have the same perceived layers of friction in your everyday life as this particular example. That said, since I have two and I can make a rapid comparison, here is a quick 20 seconds review on the off chance that you are looking. Between the Shark Wandvac and the Eufy Homevac H20, both of which are linked down in the description, here is my assessment. The Eufy, in my opinion, has a much better build quality in terms of the plastic used throughout, is awesome because it recharges with USB Type-C, and straight up, in my opinion, just looks better. But despite all of that, if I could choose just one, I would go with the Shark for 3 reasons. 1, it comes with a dock that stands it up conveniently, minimizing surface area, even though it does require their proprietary charging. 2, emptying it is a breeze with a slide, while the Eufy, though still very easy, requires you to remove the filter before emptying it out, which to me is just one more layer of friction. In terms of dust, coffee grounds, and small kitchen messes like spilled salt or pepper, they both have equally effective vacuuming power and results. But like I said, this is not a compact vacuum cleaner video. It's a make your life smoother video, which means the real actionable is this. Find what bothers you every single day, no matter how small, because any friction, if it's repeated daily, is just not cool, even if it's something as stupidly insignificant as spending 30 seconds trying to get coffee grounds off a wet dishcloth into the garbage. The key here is to not make yourself feel guilty by anything, whether it's perceived laziness or even perceived stupidity. For example, most of you probably would have thought instantly earlier in the video, why don't you just bring the trash can to the edge of the counter and just sweep it in by hand? To which I say, yeah, logical and accurate. But to which I also say, no, that just feels like added friction to me, and that's the whole point. What feels like friction to you probably doesn't feel like friction to a bunch of other people, but if it's daily friction, it doesn't really matter what it is to other people. What matters is that you eliminate your friction, because if you solve it in a way that alleviates every last possible shred of annoyance, your life will feel smoother. And not just once, but literally every single day. These small vacuum cleaners aren't cheap, so they better be effective. And since I use this literally every single day, the projected cost per use in its assumptive life cycle is pennies and well worth it. That said, if you want to see 5 things that are ridiculously cheap, yet have had an equal, if not greater impact on my life than these vacuums, you will definitely want to watch this video right over here. If you got value, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos, just like this one, drop. But for now, the satisfying moment you've all been waiting for.